Good morning. Welcome to Spiguyver Backpacking. I'm Spiguyver, and we are out on the trail today. Got my Dream Hammock Sparrow set up behind me. Got in real late last night, and so came down the trail a little bit and made a fire. And joining me this weekend will be BeeKeeper. So we're out here, gonna do 3 days out here. About a 30-mile loop in the Kisatchie. Is it National Forest? What is this?
I believe it's National Forest, yes.
Yeah, Kisatchie National Forest down in Louisiana, down in the bayou. So we're out here. We're gonna try not to be eaten by no gators, and hopefully not run into any Joe Dirte type people, or we may run into some of them. I'm a little bit worried about that. Well, Mike's got some, or BeeKeeper has some new gear out here with him that we will take a look at today when we get to camp and get things set up. We'll take a look at my stuff, but we're gonna go ahead and probably get some coffee going and then hit the trail.
Yeah.
And it will burn it to freaking just fine. So BeeKeeper and I stopped for a little bit. We wanted to make a cup of coffee. So we've got our coffee here. Fired up the wood stove, the Chi-Whiz little Thai Firefly wood stove, and used my GSI pour over and made a decent cup of coffee. What do you think?
Yep, really good. Next purchase.
Coffee's something you just gotta have on the trail. Just gotta have it. So we've done, I don't know, I'm thinking somewhere around 6 to 7 miles already. I don't know how much further we've got. It says there's a road we're gonna cross not too far. I think when they say road, it's actually like a fire road or a Jeep road, which isn't too different from what we're actually on right now. I mean, if we're gonna be honest about it, the first 2 trails. So this loop is made up of 3 trails, and the first 2 trails are multi-use, and so ATVs and motorcycles are all over them. We actually haven't seen any today, so that's been good. But we do have the chance of running into some or having some come by us, and from the looks of the trail, they've been on it pretty recently, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some come by us. It is Friday, so probably tomorrow and Sunday. But Sunday we should be all on just a hiking and horse trail. So the 3 trails, 2 of them are multi-use, and then the third one is just hiking and horses. So that'll be good. And supposedly that's the best part of this whole thing. So you end up on a high note. Weather, we'll see. It's gonna be chilly. I mean, it's not. What do you think it is now?
I would say 50.
Yeah. High 40s, low 50s, probably right now. Not hot, not warm. Got down probably to 39, 40 last night, and we're looking at 33 as the low tonight, maybe a little bit lower out here, but not bad. And then Saturday night the rain is supposed to move in, so make sure our tarps are set up that night, since I didn't set mine up last night. But we're gonna enjoy this coffee, and we'll see you guys down the trail. So we came down the trail and we hit the road, and there's like a mile-long road walk. It's actually a little over a mile to get to this area where there's a campground. What wasn't mentioned in the guide or the video on it is that it's a fee area, so you have to pay to stay in that campground. But we decided to hit the trail, and we're just going to hike out of the area and find a spot to set up. And we came to this little spot here, and at first I was like, is that water over there? And he said, yeah, I think that is. That, or it's a big open area. And then as we got closer, he mentioned, well, is it like a frozen lake over there? And it's this white, check this out. Got this white sand beach over there. There's obviously a way to get over there because there's four-wheeler tracks and a bunch of footprints on it, but you've got this little water area right down through here. This is the Kisatchie Bayou, I think.
I believe that's what it was called.
So that's what we got. Kind of cool. We're gonna go find a spot to set up. It's late. It's like 12:30. So we found a nice campsite here. We actually, from where that beach was, we walked up probably a mile through the entire campground, and we came to the very last campsite, and we found a spot where we could hang both of the hammocks up like we've got it here, kind of in a little triangle area, so that we could just kind of lounge, BS. And then right down here is the river, and it's flowing. It's actually flowing pretty good right up this way. But right here at the bend, it seems like it slows down. And it's not so much that it's not flowing, it's just different over here. The water's flowing more underneath the surface than it is on top of the surface. And we went down and checked it out, and it's definitely flowing. But we have our own little white sand beach over here, and water. So pretty nice little spot we've got here. And because it is all the way down the last one, it is it should be quiet. I mean, with it being winter here, I don't think there's going to be too many people out here anyway. But being at the end of the trail, no one's going to be coming and traipsing through ours looking to get to another one. So I went ahead, I've got the hammock set up. I strung my tarp up above my hammock. Got the Sparrow out here this weekend, and just getting some good time in it. Everything's going well. I'm happy to be out here. The trail has not been very difficult. It's been relatively flat and pretty wide. Now, I'd said earlier that 2 of the trails were multi-use ones where ATVs were allowed. We actually were on the Caroline Dorman Trail here right at the end, right before we got to the campground, and that's not the case. It is horses and hikers only. So that's good. That's it's going to be a little bit nicer from here on out, I think. So we're going to do pretty much all of Carolina Dorman tomorrow, which is about 11 miles. And then we'll get onto the Backbone Trail, and we may do part of that depending on how we feel. I mean, we got here before 1 o'clock. It's like 1:30 right now. Got the hammock set up. I'm gonna chill for a little while. Mike went to go, or BeeKeeper, went to go pay our fee, our $2 fee to camp here, since we decided, this is nice. It's nice to have the convenience of the picnic table and fireplace grill type deal. So we're gonna go ahead and do this, and this is where we're gonna stay for tonight. Got nice trees here, nicely set up. Looked up, and we don't have any widowmakers above us to deal with. This area does have a lot of dead trees from some fires, but right in through here, it's actually been pretty nice, and we haven't seen too many issues there. only other issue we've got is that we carried too much stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but on the outside of the pack, I had to strap the tortilla chips. So they were kind of flopping around all day long. But we wanted to do the Packet Gourmet happy hour. We've got tequila, we've got the margarita mix, we've got the 3 different dips, and we've got a family size or a party size, whichever, thing of the Tostitos scoops, and they aren't in too bad shape. There aren't too many of them broken, so we made it through the day, and we've got those. I'm also going to do up the pizza, the kind of pizza bread stuff that I had done last weekend. I'm going to do those up tonight. So we've got lots of food for today and lots of time to kill because it's only like 1:30, like I said, but that's okay. We'll take it. So it's starting to cool off, so I got the jacket on and the hat, and we were just talking about staying warm. So this is going to help with staying warm. This really is not Palm Wonderful, I promise. It's Jose Cuervo Gold, and it goes with the Packet Gourmet Moonshine Margarita Mixer. Good stuff.
Very good stuff.
Had that lots of times. And then we've got all the happy hour stuff here. So there it is. Pico de Gallo, Queso Rico, and the chorizo bean dip. Good stuff. And of course, tequila. I brought some bowls out so we could do those and have the dip. And then we've got the party size Tostitos over here. We'll see how many of them aren't crumbs, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So here we go. We've got margarita in the cups. We've got chips. Some of them aren't even broken, so that's a good start. We've got the Pico de Gallo, the queso, and the chorizo bean dip. So for those of you who are wondering, this is how you do backpacking. If you aren't doing it this way, you've been doing it wrong. This is the way to do it. What do you think?
Cheers.
Good morning. Well, it is Saturday morning, and so we had mentioned the ATV trails, but we haven't seen any ATVs, haven't heard any ATVs. Well, 7:30 this morning, ATVs across the river. So last night it got down at least to 33. That's what it was calling for, and it was cold. So I'm in the Sparrow. So I've got the top cover on, and I'm in here. So it did keep in quite a bit more warmth than just having a bug net or being open. But there has been a downside to this on this one, and so look at this. So all over my quilt, it looks like it has rained. Now the top cover itself is dry. There's no condensation on it whatsoever, but it is all accumulated on my quilt. So now I've got to be careful and get this thing dried off so that I don't end up with a wet down sleeping bag or quilt at the end of the night. But I slept really, really well. Went to bed somewhere around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I was asleep by 9:30, and it's 7:30, and I'm just now waking up. So nice night of sleep. And let's take a look outside, see what's going on with the world out there. So I was in porch mode. Mike's got his new tarp from Cedar Ridge Outdoors, and it's got the doors on it. So we're starting to tear down, get things ready for the day. We have we had a fire over here to kind of warm up. We had our coffee earlier this morning, but I wanted to show you guys. So this is the tarp that BeeKeeper brought out with him this weekend. This is the Cedar Ridge. This is the winter version, so it's got the doors on the end. It's a big full coverage tarp. He did have a little bit of condensation inside of it this morning. I mean, with it being cold and the doors closed up, no real ventilation in there. That's bound to happen. I wanted to show you guys the quilt that he and his wife put together. So he built this under quilt. It's got the really cool dragon scale pattern. Looks really cool. And he's got that Walhalla Hammock and Outdoors netted hammock, the wide body in the Robic XL 1.7, I believe, 1.6, 1.7, something like that. But he went with kind of like a clue system on the suspension, kind of like a standard suspension and a clue suspension kind of combined. So works out pretty well. It's climate shield, and to keep you warm.
Very warm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So much of this area that we're going through is just tore up and devastated by boars. I mean, if you look at the ground here, you see just how tore up it is. And this has been all over the place here. I mean, you've got a bunch of gullies and stuff anyway, but then the boars are just tearing it up. Crazy. My ULA CDT pack on this trip again because, like I'd mentioned, I sold my Appalachian Ultralight speed pack, the custom one I had done, and I have a new Appalachian Ultralight pack being built right now. So when that one comes in, which should be in the next week or so, I'll get a first look video up on that. And BeeKeeper behind me is rocking his Z-Packs Arc Blast.
Yep, Arc Blast.
Arc Blast. Still going strong with that one. He's got the blue Dyneema Hybrid, and a nice pack. It's got that arc that kind of keeps it away from your back, keeps you from sweating too much, which is kind of nice. So anyway, just heading down the trail. It's been a great day. Today's been a lot nicer on the trail than yesterday. Yesterday we were on those ATV trails all day. Today it's been mostly just a regular hiking trail for the most part, but it doesn't see a lot of use. You can tell that this place doesn't get a ton of use. It is well kept though. You can see that people have come out and mowed it where it's kind of grassy and brushy, but the trail itself hasn't looked like it's got a lot of use. It's not all that worn in a lot of areas, but it has a little bit of elevation gain, a little bit up and down. Yesterday was just almost dead flat all day long. So like 10, 11 miles of just flat flew by. Today we've had some pretty good climbs. You know, just past the mile 10 marker, there was actually a rocky, pretty steep climb. It was short, but yeah, kind of started the day off with that, and we've had a few ups and downs. We're about 4 miles from the end of the Caroline Dorman Trail, or Dorman? Is it Dorman or Dorman?
I think it's Dorman.
Okay. So about 4 miles left on this one, a little less than that. And then we hit the Backbone Trail, which is the final trail for this loop. I believe that one's about 8 miles. So by the time we finish this one, we'll have done, well, a little over 20 miles given where we camped last night. But all right, well, we're gonna keep going. You gotta make sure you suck it in for the camera. We found our campsite for the night. We are just about a mile into the Backbone Trail, which means we've got about 6, maybe 6.5 miles left for this loop. And we found this nice spot. So we're here, got a little fire ring here, little bench area that's been set up, some rocks over here, some decent trees to hang from. We're gonna have to get a little bit creative there. But the one thing that we were kind of worried about was whether or not we were going to be able to find any water. And so we knew that there was a stream that kind of paralleled this trail, but was down in the valley here. So we came over here. You can see there's a nice little knoll over there. We've got our area here. Great spot. And then, so what I did was I came over here to these rocks. And I got up on these rocks and I looked out and I looked down here, and you can see a little gully down there, and in that ravine there is a little stream going down through there. So there's BeeKeeper coming up. He went and got some water, so he's down there hiking back up. But yeah, so we've got a nice spot up here on this knoll for the night. So we're gonna go ahead and go back over here, get set up, get some dinner going and stuff, and be a good night. It's been a great day of hiking. We got in, well, let's see, I think I've got about 13.5 miles for the day with leaving our campsite and then hiking the trail and then getting over here. So it's been a great day on the trail. What do you think, Mike? How was it?
Good. Decent scenery.
Yeah.
Not too strenuous.
A little better than yesterday's trail.
Better than the ATV trail.
Yep. Cool. So we'll see you. We are pretty much in recovery mode. This storm just kind of blew in out of nowhere. It ripped all of the stakes out of the ground on my tarp. It ripped the stakes out of Mike's tarp. Dude, right now, this may be the one storm that gets me to rethink my continuous ridgeline setup for my tarp, because it has pulled, it blew so hard and it was pulling so hard on this tarp that it actually slipped the prussics, and so my tarp isn't taut up above me and it is totally up against me, and I'm having to hold it out with my arms right now. And the winds, we had to have had some 70 mile an hour gusts at least that came through here. Just driving rain. It was freaking crazy. And crap, I just heard one of my stakes just came out. Damn it. Well, we made it through the night last night. I think barely. You can see that my tarp, even though I came out and adjusted it a few times, you can see that sag in it because the prussic, not this one, but the one on the other side, kept slipping. You can see how close this one is to the end knot right there. On the other side, if we walk around without getting too wet, it used to be real close to this, and you can see it's slid all the way down, and I came out and I was trying to adjust it. I was yanking on it, trying to tighten it, but it just wouldn't work. And so what I had to keep doing was every time it would slip, I would have to adjust the lines on the stakes, and so it made for a rough night. You can see I've got some rocks that were holding down the stakes. I mean, I pounded those are like 7-inch, maybe even 8-inch stakes, and I pounded them all the way as far in as they would go, and they were still getting ripped out of this ground. And I was having to use rocks to hammer them in because the ground, once you get down about 3 inches, becomes pretty damn hard. So Mike actually had his with these big ass rocks holding them down. If we come over here, you can see just how much the wind was battering this side. So this was the direction. So it was coming off of this ridge over here and coming down and coming against this side of us. So you can see my backpack was hanging there. My backpack is soaked. I had it hanging off the end of the hammock. But, so this is the side that's getting beat up, getting hammered with the wind. And here, let me adjust this camera a little bit so we can get in a little closer. Here you can see Mike had his line running around this stone. While it is sandstone, you can see that the line actually cut into the stone and buried itself in there. So kind of crazy. And that just shows how much the side of this tarp was being battered by the wind and being, buffeted, and it created that really like a sawing motion down here and cut into it. So again, this morning I woke up with drops of water on my underquilt, or I mean my top quilt. The condensation just kind of formed in there. Nothing on the hammock body or on the overcover body itself, just kind of just kind of forms on that top quilt. So I'm gonna have to get a couple more nights in this one, a couple more nights in the chameleon to get a good comparison there to see how the two of them deal with the condensation in their own ways. How'd you end up sleeping once you finally got to sleep?
Slept great.
Yeah. So when it was all said and done, I think it was about 3 o'clock when it finally quieted down enough that we thought our tarps were going to hold. So it started up about midnight, went to about 3, and then it just kind of was a gentle rain that we were able to sleep to. And it's a little bit foggy this morning, but wow, that was quite a night. Not one I want to repeat anytime soon. No. So we are back on the trail, day 3, and we are on the Backbone Trail. Just left camp, a little bit little bit more wet today. The trail's got a little bit of water running down it right here, but I think we'll be able to find water pretty easily. I think those little streams that were kind of dry are going to be not so dry today. We fared pretty well last night. I mean, given what it could have been, our quilts stayed for the most part dry, and therefore we were able to stay warm. Even if our tarps were being whipped around and pulled up, at least they were still staying kind of draped over us and didn't get ripped up. I think 30 seconds with the tarp being flipped over and we'd have been done. We'd have been hiking out last night, because otherwise we'd have been taken by hypothermia and probably someone would have found us curled up dead. Weeks, something like that. Yeah, weeks, months, maybe years later, because that's how long it would take for someone to give a crap and come looking for us. What are you doing in that tree?
Trying not to die.
We came to this little area right here, and there are so many dead trees all through here, but it's been fire ravaged, and you can see, you know, the scars on the trees here, like this dead one right behind me that's barely hanging on. But there's a lot, as you can see, across the trail that didn't make it. And kind of cool is all the new pine trees that are sprouting up all over right through here. Makes for a kind of cool contrast between the whitish colored dead trees and then that bright green kind of on the ground. So we've come to another creek. Here, I'll let you see it. That doesn't have a bridge. So we came, what, I don't know, 5 minutes ago?
Yes.
We crossed a bridge that was over a 1.5 2 foot wide stream. And then we come to this, and there's no bridge, nothing to cross it. I mean, it's moving pretty good today. Probably higher than it's been in a while. And so Mike went one direction, I went the other direction. I found up here there's a couple of trees that look like they're across it. I'm hoping they're all the way across it. We're gonna walk down there and check it out. If not, we may have to freaking walk through this one, ford this one. And when it's, you know, 40s, 50 degree, that water is probably just as cold. It makes for an unpleasant crossing. Now I watched a lot of the PCT videos, like Homemade Wanderlust, and they were having to do a lot of tracking up and down because of the snow melt in the Sierras this year. All the rivers were just raging, and there were people that lost their lives up there on the PCT, not being safe crossing them. So, you know, it makes me think of those things. But it's nowhere near. I mean, this is nowhere near the dire situation that they were in as they came to some of their stream crossings. But it's still it's frustrating to get to one that's 1.5 foot wide with a really awesome nice bridge over it, and then you get to this and there's nothing. So, well, we're gonna go see if we can get over down here. And then how do I get back up?
You should be able to grab hold of the root that's sticking out down there, maybe help yourself back.
All right. Oh yeah, this is nice. So this is what you got to do. I know it is. I gotta kick all this duff off of here to figure out what I've actually got to step on. That's like impale yourself stick right there that you can't put any weight on. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep the weight on this foot. I've got a decent handhold here. I'm gonna try and step across to There we go. Whew. What a bitch. I mean, that doesn't look that bad, but just because of it being wet,
Yeah.
and the moss that's on it and the slope, it's just enough to scare you.
It's good.
Yeah, it's wiggling a little on you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, you know,
It's not gonna roll.
I'm sure my pack is not like optimally weighted. I'm sure there's a CG issue here. Oh, that bump's gonna feel good. Oh yeah. Stuff. Ow. Okay. What do we got?
Your foot's pretty close to the water.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just letting you know.
That's the thing I'm scared about, these lugs on these shoes, man. It's gonna be slippery, but there.
So get on that one. No, I wouldn't step there. That one broke on me.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. So use that one that your right foot's on, and then just step over to this.
Where'd you step? You step in
Right
the
to
poop?
that.
Or
Yeah, like right in that area. Just took a good freaking step for it. You
Cool.
made it. So another successful hike. Wrapped this one up back at the trailhead. About a half mile back, we passed the campsite that we stayed at the first night, and then finished up out here to the trucks. Now, it's kind of funny last night. You know, I've mentioned before just kind of the crazy things that go through my mind when I'm out alone or on the trail, just kind of thinking of random things. Well, last night I was laying there as that storm was going on, and I was thinking that I was gonna redo the 12 days of Christmas. So I came up with the first one. The first day is a Miller Lite in a pine tree, because and I was gonna base it on stuff that we saw and experienced on this trip. So that one goes along with, you know, we saw a Miller Lite in a pine tree. So then I got to day 2, and I couldn't remember what day 2 was. I couldn't remember what day 2 through 12 of the actual 12 days of Christmas were. So it ended at day 1. So I didn't make it very far. But that's just kind of the random crap that goes through my head while I'm out hiking and backpacking. But anyway, great trip. Glad I was able to get out with BeeKeeper on this one, and we'll be meeting up again next month down at HangCon down in Ocala, Florida, Doe Lake. So look forward to that one, and we'll get out on the trail a little bit, do a little bit more of the Florida trail while we're there, and get to see a lot of cool setups and try some stuff out. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us on this one, and I'll see you guys down the trail.